Sajjad Haydar Ansari, originally from Yemen and from then to Iran, and then they migrated to Kashmir. Revered Sayyid Hussein, he came to Kashmir in 13th century, and he was on his way to China for Tabligh Deen, and when he was passing to Kashmir with his ashab, among them was Alim Ansari one, and the king of Kashmir that time, his son, the Wali Ahad, the prince, was very ill, and he was in his garden, and he saw from the balcony some people reciting namaz. After namaz, he just got interested in it, and he saw one of them crossing the small rivulet over the water and going and plucking some apple from apple tree. He was amazed to see this karama, and he immediately ordered his wazir and told him to go and ask these gentlemen to come to my palace. And when the wazir went there, those religious persons, they said, we don't go to palaces, this is not our job. And when the wazir returned, the king was more impressed by seeing that the people declining the invitation of king, that they must be more important than the king. Then he went himself and pleaded, requested them to come to his palace and grace the occasion and pray for his son's recovery. And then they promised once they returned from China, the Tibet, they would go for preaching Islam. They would come back, and after some time they came back and stayed there, and then on the request of king, they decided to stay in Kashmir for Tabligh. Although the king was from Hanafi Maslak, he was nicknamed in Kashmir as Badshah, the great king, and his name was Zainul Abidin. He made them to stay there, and this is how the family of Ansaris, this is their lineage, and then they started living in Kashmir, and this is the way they began propagating Islam, and this is how I came into being from that dynasty. Well, actually I'm trained as an engineer, mechanical engineer, but because of the turmoil in Kashmir, which erupted the moment I finished my engineering, and I decided to do something which is more noble and which is more productive. Instead of going and doing a job in the government sector and earning for my living, where I would not be of much help to the community. So I was essentially interested in journalism from my school days. I was editing school magazine, and then in the college also I would write columns and regularly contribute to newspapers. And then because of the turmoil, all the sectors in Kashmir, they collapsed, all the business collapsed. So this is how in Kashmiri society, as Muslims in Kashmir, they were dependent on the newspapers and the media, which was controlled by the non-Muslims, and then they would give them the one-sided of the picture. And I felt, as a Shia, this is my responsibility to convey the truth, what's happening, because this is what we have learned from the Karbala, from the Janab Zainab. She was the messenger, she conveyed the truth and she kept this. I thought this is the best line one can do, and what's happening there, nobody knows the truth, what's happening. So it is better to be sort of messengers, convey the truth to the world, what's happening. And this is how I thought this is the profession I should adopt. And I first joined as a freelancer with Voice of Germany. Then later on, I traveled to Iran, and this was the time when Iraq and Kuwait war broke out, and I landed in the profession there with a newspaper who deputed me to the war front. I covered that war for the newspaper, and then I returned to India. There I started working with various news media outlets, and finally when I came back to Kashmir in 1996, so a group of Muslim journalists, we started our own newspaper, and I was the founder of that newspaper, which by name Kashmir Observer, and Alhamdulillah, this is now 17th year The newspaper is there, and it's #2 in circulation in Kashmir state. This is my first visit to Karbala, although it has been, my long last wish that I should avail this opportunity, but because of my time constraints and my profession, that didn't allow me. And in fact, I believe that until and unless Imam Hussein calls you, no matter how much you try, you will not be able to go there. And this was my call, and this is how I came. And I feel blessed, and the way I see, this apart from the spiritual aspect of Karbala, because we have grown up from our childhood learning and listening about Karbala. And when you come here, this is altogether different experience, because you see firsthand, you refresh your memories, and as if the scene of Karbala comes into before your eyes. This is as it's not 1400 years back what has happened in Karbala, as if this has happened just yesterday. This is so fresh and so lively, this story of Karbala. And I wish every Muslim could avail this opportunity and come and visit Karbala and stay here for some time in the shrine of Imam Hussein and visit the places where the Battle of Karbala was fought. And luckily, I see the expansion which is going on around Karbala. And I feel this is the glorious time for the followers of Imam Hussein. They see his shrine being unchained, which was sort of under chains perhaps for all these years, hundreds of years. Now the expansion, now the freedom people are feeling there by praying and by offering their condolences. This is the glorious moment, I believe. Well, as I already said, this is the glorious period, I believe, for the Shia, for the followers of Imam Hussein, because now we are witnessing a sort of a renaissance. Everything is happening, and happening so fast. As media is the dominant player this time in shaping the mindset of people, shaping the opinion of the people. And the unfortunate part has been that the message of Imam Hussein has not transcended borders so far. It has not reached where it should have. And this boom in the media industry around the world is an opportunity for us, the followers of Imam Hussein, to convey his message. And I think this channel is a catalyst, the channel, Imam Hussein channel. This can prove to be a great boom and a major leap towards that goal, which every follower of Imam Hussein wishes, that the message of Karbala, the struggle of Imam Hussein and his family should reach to every nook and corner of the world. And I believe this is a tremendous and major step the founders of this channel have taken by opening up the channel to the different parts of the world and the people who speak different languages. Well, Alhamdulillah, Kashmir, as you might have heard, is blessed with a lot of natural beauty. Kashmir is considered to be the paradise on earth because of the mountains, because of the greenery, because of the water, gushing rivers and all. So in Kashmir we feel very close to nature, very close to God. This is one aspect. And the people there are very religious. They have Sufi bent of mind. They are very intolerant people. And the silver lining has been that the Islam, which came to Kashmir in 7th century, around 6th century, has come through the followers of Imam Hussein. The first Muslim who arrived in Kashmir was Sayyid Sharafuddin Ardabili, Al-Musawi, from Ardabil. He came from that part of Central Asia to Kashmir. He traveled all the way. And when he reached Kashmir, it was the time when Kashmir was ruled by Buddhists. The king of Kashmir was a Buddhist. And if you allow me to say, a small part of that history is the king of Kashmir was in his chambers, which was on the bank of a river, and he had an argument with his wife, the lady, who was a Hindu. And because he was a learned king, he was always interested in knowing about the religions. So the queen was also learned, and she was trying to prevail upon the king to declare the Hinduism as the religion of state religion of Kashmir. But since the king was not himself inclined to Hinduism, he said that, let me see, the first person I see in the morning, if he impresses me, I'll follow his religion. And he saw from his balcony, as he said, Sayyid Sharafuddin reading namaz on the bank of river. He was so moved by that personality of Sayyid that he said, this is the one I should follow. And then he invited him to his palace, and this is then the conversation started, and the king, who was known as Rinjan Shah, was named as Sadruddin. So the first Sayyid who came to Kashmir all alone converted king of Kashmir as to Islam. This is how the contribution of followers of Imam Hussain has been. Then the major upheaval in Kashmir took place in 13th century when Sayyid Ali Hamadani, a great Sufi Sayyid, came to Kashmir, and he witnessed, he came as a traveler, he was a great traveler, and he was himself a great scholar of Islam. So he saw Kashmir is a fertile land for propagation of Islam. He returned to Iran and brought with him 700 disciples, among them Muballighin, the preachers. He brought with artisans, scientists, every person, because he thought Islam is incomplete if I just tell them to follow the religion without giving them economic support, without making them self-reliant, self-sufficient, so that they are not dependent on their non-Muslim masters. So he was so emancipated that he transformed Kashmir and revolutionized Kashmir and gave them not only religion but created, sort of a perfect society. And this is, he is known in Kashmir as Alamdari Kashmir, standard bearer of Kashmir. Some call him Amir Kabir, some call him Ali Sani, because he was so fond of, he has written a big book known as Muwaddatul Qurba. That is about the Qurba, refers to the Ahlul Bayt. So, but if you go to Kashmir, you see 100% of Muslims, whether they are from Hanafi, Shafi, or any denomination, they respect and revere Sayyid Ali Hamadani, who was so lover of Ahlul Bayt. And in mosques, in shrines, every morning they recite the azkar, which are known as Awrad Fatiha. He has given those dua, munajat, where the praise of Chahar the Masumeen and Ahlul Bayt. Every Muslim recites that. This is something unique which you won't find in any part of subcontinent, and neither in India nor in Pakistan. So this is the background how Islam came to Kashmir by the followers of Imam Hussain. And then Alhamdulillah, this time 80% of population of Kashmir Valley is Muslim, and they are followers of Ahlul Bayt. Well, we have almost all ceremonies which you have in Karbala, because the Muslims there, especially the followers of Imam Hussain, observe the Azadari, the mourning ceremonies during the Muharram and Safar with great reverence. Whole Kashmir is draped in black. The black banners with the messages of Imam Hussain and other Masumeen, and then the ceremonies, then the processions, night and day, and then you have jam-packed Hussainiyas and mosques. This is one aspect of Kashmir. Then you have the other aspect is that there are certain restrictions by the powers always, where you have certain limitations in observing and preaching your faith, because certain powers are not, comfortable with the message of Imam Hussain. They feel threatened if the message of Imam Hussain is propagated and preached. This will destabilize their system, because they are the worldly, their understanding is only to the extent that they want to retain power, they want to stay in power, but the message of Imam Hussain is for the hereafter, for the next world, not only for this world. So this is where sort of friction is always there. But Alhamdulillah, the Muslims in Kashmir, they have great respect and great faith in the revolution of Imam Hussain, and then they carry on with that. And we have a distinctive style of praising and the valor of Imam Hussein and his companions in Karbala. Like this is a rich cultural tradition in Kashmir. We have the Marasi, we call the way we mourn the Imam Hussein. We recite the Nawhas in the typical Kashmiri style, which you won't find anywhere. The rhythm and the style of reading that, with one Zakir standing and then the whole group following him. Every Muslim, every Shia would like, to have the glimpse, to have the, images of the shrine of Imam Hussein in front of his eyes at least once a day. So if we have a channel which is beaming live broadcast from the Imam Hussein shrine or the shrine of Abul Fazl Abbas, I think this will be greatly welcomed by the Mu'mineen around the world. And if we have the functions which are taking place there, if we have the ulama giving special lectures and all, so this is a great welcome stuff. We have, since it's very difficult, has been till few years back to come to Karbala for various reasons. In Kashmir we have had a tradition, because I said that many people have traveled from Iraq, the Sayyids and Awliya have come to Kashmir from Iraq, from Iran, especially from the region of Iran, and they have brought with them many what we call tabarukat. Like we have a Quran written in the hand of Imam Musa Kazim. So because they cannot come to Kazimain, so they think that this Quran itself, when they go and do Zyarah of the handwriting of Imam Musa Kazim, so this is a great privilege. This is one. Then we have a tasbih Fatima Zyarah, made of khake Karbala, so which oozes blood on the day of Ashura. This is their strong belief that this oozes blood. So Asra Ashura, this becomes red, and then gradually it turns back into khak by the 14th of Muharram. So many people, including non-Muslims, come and visit that place to see that tasbih, the transformation of the tasbih. Why it happens only at the Asra Ashura? Is it the real khak of Karbala, as we strongly believe that the khak where the blood of Hussein dropped turns red every Ashura? So this is a living miracle. Then we have the alam of Hazrat Abbas with Mir Sayyid Ali Ahmadani, who came from Iran. He brought with him the alam he had in his hand. So they give tashbih that this is the alam of Abul Fazl Abbas. This is preserved there, and people go in thousands and have a glimpse of that. Then we have lot of many things which are attributed to the Ahlul Bayt, which are preserved in Kashmir, and people have great faith in them, because they think that because those people who cannot afford to come here at least have something there as a tabaruk to go and visit that. And then we have a place known as Alam Sahab nearby my house, where they believe, that is under the control of Ahl Sunnah, the clothes of Imam Hussein and martyrs of Karbala which have blood stains in them. So it's a question of research whether they are the real clothes or not, but they are attributed. They say this is the blood stained cloth of Imam Hussein. Some of the companions who were martyred in Karbala, they are preserved there, and every morning of the Ashura they are brought out, and thousands of people you will see weeping and watching those clothes. This is the level of respect and the love they have with Imam Hussein. Every Muslim, every Shia grows up by hearing about the Imam Hussein and his sacrifice and his life till the culmination, the climax on the day of Ashura. So this is a childhood dream of every Muslim and every Shia especially, to come and personally visit the gravesite of Imam Hussein and other companions and pay respect. And once you come here, it transforms you totally. And this gives you I think we can divide our life before visiting Karbala and after visiting Karbala. So it certainly transforms. This has happened with me. I was not prepared, in fact, this time to come to Karbala, because I tried last year. My passport got delayed, my family's passport got delayed, so I could not come. I tried very hard that time. So my passport came, my children's passport didn't come. This time I was just with one of my friends who just recently visited on Arba'in to Karbala, and he was so much moved by the visit that he made me to come next time, because he had taken a vow here 3 months back that he would make it a point to come back as soon as possible. And for 3rd of Shaban, he made it a point he should be in Karbala. So he told me, come Sajjad, let's go to Karbala. I said, I'm ready, but I don't think my call has come, because I tried my best, I couldn't go. He said, maybe, let's try. And within 2 or 3 hours, we decided to go, and we reached here. And now I think it's very late I came here. I should have come at least 10 years, 15 years back. Now I think I can divide my life pre-Karbala and post-Karbala visit. So now I see, when I went to the place where Hazrat Abul Fazl Abbas, these arms were, cut. So this gave me, a jolt. And then I went to the Alqama. From there, I saw. Then I went to Tal Zainabiyya. I saw how Hazrat Zainab would have stayed there and watched the whole event taking place. So this brings you whole story in front of your eyes. So I wish every Shia, every Muslim comes to this place and revisits the whole story of Karbala. And this is something amazing.